Today's episode of What's in the Long Box is brought to you by Freedom Stick by Comerica. Look, Ma, no more wires.
It's Freedom Stick, it's the #1 bet. It's got no wires, it's a one to get. Arcane action is where you'll be. Yeah, Freedom Stick will set you free. No wires. It works with Nintendo too. With Atari, Commodore, it's real cool. Higher scores is what you'll see, because Freedom Stick will set you free. No wires. Freedom Stick.
Excalibur #1, published by Marvel Comics, October of 1988. Written by the great Chris Claremont and penciled by the great Alan Davis. Cover shows our 5 heroes standing dramatically on a rooftop in London, which is ever so subtly distinguished by the British flag and Big Ben.
Hey, look, kids! There's Big Ben and there's Parliament!
Below them, hiding and laughing, are 4 werewolves. Spoiler alert, this scene does not occur in the story, but it's a perfect showcase of the newly developed team and the dangerous and mischievous werewolves. That's hard to say. Werewolves. Unlike some of the other issues I've discussed, I actually am quite familiar with this issue and Excalibur in general, as they were a favorite of mine. We open the story in Scotland, in a magical place not far from Stonehenge, in a disused facility called Gateway Technologies, which seems to be appropriate. The story is called Werewolves of London, obviously a reference to the classic Warren Zevon song, Werewolves of London. We find Tweedledope sitting alone and casually throwing all kinds of weird things into a metal shell, including a radio that's giving information on what's to come in the story ahead. He looks at this metal head he's constructed but gets distracted by a wanted poster on the wall of he and his group, the Crazy Gang, and tosses it aside as he walks off. A bit too soon to see his creation come to life. This is Widget. Not to be seen again in this issue, but a major part of things to come in the Excalibur universe. In the meantime, Excalibur and the police encounter a hostage situation in London. While policeman Di Thomas is reluctant to send in young girls like Kitty Pryde or Rachel Summers, Captain Britain reassures him that Excalibur will handle the situation. In the meantime, Kitty and Rachel talk to police officer Ray Mulholland on the rooftop of the building, impressing him with their mutant powers. The two then phase through the roof to check out the hostage situation, while unfortunately Mulholland is attacked by a werewolf who kills him and strips him from his skin. While Kitty is watching the hostage situation by phasing through the wall, Rachel feels an intense psychic connection that causes her to scream, catching the attention of the bank robbers and knocking her out. They find her unconscious body and drag her out as Kitty pretends to be a ghost and tries to scare them. The gunshot alerts Captain Britain, who decides to storm the building. Rachel, suddenly awakened, releases the Phoenix and disarms the hostage takers, knocking them out by smashing them against the wall. By the time Captain Britain enters the scene, Kitty and Rachel have already dealt with the situation. Skeevy banker Nigel Frobisher approaches Rachel and offers her to express his gratitude more privately, which she fully understands by reading his mind and is understandably grossed out. She is still confused about her seizure and tells her teammates that she felt a psychic scream of a person who seems to be entirely erased from existence without even leaving a mind trace. The werewolves get another skin suit, and back in Merlin Mews, Rachel feels the same sensation again when Jacko Petrie is killed and skinned by a werewolf disguised as police officer Ray Mulholland. So let's take a moment to talk about the werewolves and their relationship with Excalibur. The werewolves were originally a pack of 6 sentient dog-like servants artificially created through genetic engineering under the supervision of Mojo, the ruler of the other dimensional world, the Mojo world. Mojo captured the X-Man Rachel Summers, also known as Phoenix, and rendered her an amnesiac. Somehow, Phoenix managed to escape back to Earth through an interdimensional portal, like you do, arriving in London, England, pursued by the werewolves on behalf of Mojo. This is when she gets together with what they thought were the few remaining X-Men, Kitty and Nightcrawler, and Captain Britain and Megan. One night later in Merlin Muse, Kitty sadly looks at pictures of X-Men and her friend Doug Ramsey, who are supposed to be dead after the Mutant Massacre. The Mutant Massacre, or the Morlock Massacre, was an 11-issue mega event in which Mr. Sinister ordered his assassins, the Marauders, to execute the entire population of the Morlocks, a mostly peaceful tribe of mutants living in the sewers under New York City. Heroes such as the X-Men and X-Factor, the New Mutants and Power Pack, Thor, and Daredevil tried in vain to stop the massacre. Kitty is interrupted remembering all of her X-Men adventures by Captain Britain, who tries to cheer her up. He invites her to join him on a trip into town, but she refuses because she is working on a secret device she is calling the Doppelganger Module. On the west coast of England, Megan and Nightcrawler fly to Brian Braddock's lighthouse. Brian Braddock is, of course, Captain Britain. Megan suggests that Excalibur could use it as a secret headquarters and shows Nightcrawler around. While Megan makes some tea in the kitchen, he encounters a strange vision in a storeroom where he is attacked by an alien species. In the nick of time, he teleports out of the room and back into the kitchen, but when he wants to show Megan what he just saw, the storage room, of course, is empty. In London, Rachel goes with Captain Britain to Fraser's bank, where she is approached by super creep Nigel Frobisher again. She's distracted by a telepathic message from Megan and Kurt, and Fraser uses this moment to touch her because he's a terrible piece of shit. Rachel pushes him away with her Phoenix power, and that cracks up Captain Britain. Captain Britain is startled by the entrance of a blonde woman he immediately recognizes as Courtney Ross, his former girlfriend, who is now the vice president of the bank. They sit down to talk about old times, and this can't possibly go badly. In Merlin Muse, Kitty finishes her Doppelganger module, which will allow her to mask herself as Phoenix by sending out her unique energy pattern. She dresses up as Phoenix as well, totally uncomfortable with the skin-tight suit and the high heels, and moves out into the streets of London, planning to draw the werewolves' attention. The werewolves want to capture Phoenix in order to take her back to Mojo, so she hopes they will be lured to her instead. This too can't go badly either, right? Megan and Nightcrawler return to the mansion, unaware of Kitty's dangerous plan. Nightcrawler is taking a bath and is startled by Megan, who brings him a mug of hot chocolate while he's all naked and exposed. Returning from the bath, Nightcrawler discovers Kitty's invention in Captain Britain's lab. He is immediately alarmed and telepathically calls Rachel, who is currently visiting the Shakespeare Company in London. She leaves the theater and starts to search for Kitty, who just met police officer Mulholland and some of his companions. I'm saying that with heavy quotation marks. Mulholland mistakes her for Rachel Summers, and he and his companions, I'm doing it again.
Can I just stop you right there for a second? When people do this, I don't really know what that means.
Reveal that they are, in fact, werewolves. Kitty phases when the first werewolf strikes her, but then her powers get scrambled and she cannot phase back from solid state. The werewolves capture her and drag her away. Phoenix, Megan, Captain Britain, and Nightcrawler appear at the scene, but they cannot stop the werewolves from abducting Kitty. Together they decide they must rescue their teammate before the enemies turn her into a werewolf herself. So that was Excalibur #1, one of my favorites. It was a terrific run altogether. They had a lot of interesting stories to tell. What happens next in A Werewolf Possessed? Who knows? That is another issue. Thanks for stopping by to see what's in the long box this week. Please remember to like and subscribe. Please share the videos with your friends if anyone would be interested. The more viewers, the better. Remember to click that bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time when we take a look and find out what's in the long box.